Hey heroes, welcome back to GamingSafeSpace. I'm your host, bringing you deep dives into the games we love. And today, we're diving into a game that's close to my heart, Marvel's Midnight Suns. Released in 2022, this tactical RPG from Firaxis Games blended card-based combat, superhero swagger, and a surprising dose of social sim vibes. I absolutely adore this game, though. Let's be real. Some of those characters could get a bit whiny at times. In this retrospective, we'll explore how Midnight Suns was made, how it was received, and whether there's any hope for its future. Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride through the darker side of the Marvel Universe. If you're hyped, smash that like button, subscribe, and let's get started. So, let's rewind to the origins of Marvel's Midnight Suns. Developed by Firaxis Games, the studio behind XCOM and Civilization, this wasn't your typical Marvel game. Announced in August 2021 at Gamescom, Midnight Suns promised a tactical RPG set in the supernatural corner of the Marvel Universe, drawing loose inspiration from the 1990s Midnight Suns comic run. Firaxis didn't want to just slap a Marvel skin on XCOM. Creative director Jake Solomon, a lifelong Marvel fan, aimed to craft a unique experience. In interviews, Solomon emphasized that superheroes shouldn't feel like soldiers ducking behind cover, so they ditched XCOM's grid-based mechanics for something bolder, a card-based combat system. This was a risky move. Cards can feel random or gimmicky, but Firaxis saw them as a way to capture the unpredictable, larger-than-life powers of heroes, like Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider. The game's story centered on a new character, the Hunter, a customizable protagonist who's the child of Lilith, a demonic sorceress resurrected by Hydra. Your job? Lead a team of Marvel icons, think Blade, Nico Minoru, Iron Man, and Wolverine, to stop Lilith and her master, Chthon. The roster mixed heavy hitters like Captain America with lesser-known supernatural heroes, giving the game a fresh vibe. Development wasn't all smooth sailing. Firaxis faced the challenge of balancing two distinct gameplay loops: intense tactical battles and a social sim where you hang out at the Abbey, the team's mystical HQ. You could join Blade's book club, go birdwatching with Doctor Strange, or throw a birthday party for magic. This was inspired by games like Fire Emblem and Persona, but it was a bold departure for a studio known for strategy. Solomon noted the game had 65,000 lines of dialogue, more than Mass Effect 3, to flesh out these relationships. The card system itself was a point of contention within the team. Solomon admitted not everyone at Firaxis was sold on it, but he believed it was the right fit for a superhero fantasy. Each hero had a deck of 8 cards, representing abilities like Iron Man's repulsor blasts or Magic's portals. You'd draw a hand, play 3 cards per turn, and use environmental objects like exploding barrels to maximize damage. It was less about luck and more about adapting to your hand, which I found super satisfying. The game faced delays, pushing its release from October to December 2, 2022, for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Versions for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One came later in May 2023, while a planned Nintendo Switch port was canceled. Behind the scenes, Firaxis worked to polish performance, but launch issues like stuttering on PC frustrated some players. A workaround bypassing the 2K launcher helped, but it wasn't ideal. What made Midnight Suns stand out was its attention to Marvel's lore. Characters felt authentic, from Tony Stark's snarky quips to Blade's bookworm side. The Abbey was packed with secrets, like hidden crypts and a ghostly Agatha Harkness, making exploration rewarding. For me, it was a love letter to Marvel fans, even if some characters, like Nico Minoru, could get a tad annoying with their constant brooding. When Midnight Suns launched, critics were impressed. It earned an 83/100 on Metacritic, with praise for its innovative combat and deep character interactions. IGN called it a deep and innovative tactical combat system that captured the joy of superheroes smashing enemies through walls. Rock Paper Shotgun dubbed it the best Marvel game by a country mile, highlighting how it blended into the Breach-style puzzles with Gears Tactics power fantasies. The card-based combat was a standout. Reviewers loved how it forced you to think creatively, chaining abilities like Captain Marvel's photon beam with Magic's crowd control portals. The Guardian noted its satisfyingly fiendish challenges, comparing it to Fire Emblem for its mix of strategy and soap opera. Ninja Refinery, in a 2024 review, called it one of the best tactical turn-based games of all time, predicting it had become a cult classic. The social sim aspect was more divisive. Some, like me, enjoyed chilling with heroes, but others found the Gen Z banter grating. I'll admit, some dialogue, like Magic's constant sarcasm or Nico's whining, could feel like overkill. PC Gamer argued the friendship building slowed down the combat, and one Steam user complained it felt like a life sim ruining the game. Still, for Marvel nerds, hanging out with Spider-Man or debating Sun Tzu with Captain Marvel was a dream come true. Commercially, though, Midnight Suns stumbled. Publisher Take-Two Interactive called it a financial disappointment. It launched at $59.99 but dropped to $35.37 on Steam within a month, signaling weak sales. On PlayStation Store charts for December 2022, it only hit 14th in the USA and didn't chart in Europe. Why the flop? Timing was rough. Releasing in December alongside holiday heavyweights didn't help. Reddit users called it sent out to die. The niche genre was another hurdle. Tactical RPGs with deck building aren't exactly mainstream, and some fans expected an action game like Marvel's Spider-Man. Posts on Reset Era before launch predicted it'd be niche compared to Guardians of the Galaxy, which sold better despite mixed reception. Firaxis' Jake Solomon later reflected that the card mechanic surprised players, potentially turning off those wary of deck builders. Post-launch support didn't help. A season pass added Deadpool, Venom, Morbius, and Storm, each with new missions, but these felt disconnected from the main story. Microtransactions for cosmetics and a lackluster New Game Plus mode frustrated fans, with Steam discussions lamenting the grind for perfect decks with little post-game payoff. Still, patches fixed performance issues, and the game found a dedicated fanbase. On Reddit, players called it a sleeper hit and cult classic. For me, Midnight Suns was a blast, but I get why it didn't click for everyone. The combat was addictive, the story gripped me, but yeah, some of those whiny character moments, like Nico's endless angst, tested my patience. It's a gem, but it needed better marketing and a less crowded release window. So, what's next for Midnight Suns? Sadly, a sequel seems unlikely. Take-Two's comments on poor sales, coupled with Firaxis focusing on Civilization VII, suggest the studio's moving on. Jake Solomon and other key developers left Firaxis, further dimming hopes. Game director Joe Weinhofer echoed Solomon's belief that the card mechanic hurt mainstream appeal, though fans like me and PC Gamer think the cards were a strength, not a flaw. The game's story left sequel bait, notably a post-credits scene where Dr. Doom grabs the Darkhold, hinting at a bigger role. The DLC barely touched this, focusing instead on vampire villains like Sin and Dracula, which felt like a missed opportunity. Fans on NeoGAF and GameRant argue a Midnight Suns 2 could expand the roster with heroes like Gambit or Moon Knight, whose abilities would fit the card system perfectly. The Marvel Cinematic Universe could be a lifeline. With supernatural heroes like Blade, Moon Knight, and Ghost Rider gaining traction, a Midnight Suns crossover event feels plausible. GameRant suggests an MCU tie-in could boost the game's profile, especially if the team gets a big-screen debut. Imagine a sequel timed with an MCU film, swapping turn-based combat for action to appeal to a broader audience. Alternatively, the Midnight Suns crew could appear in a larger Marvel game, like a universe-spanning adventure. Their unique vibe, magic, demons, and gritty heroes, sets them apart from the Avengers. Fans on Reddit dream of a Persona-style sequel set at Xavier School, blending social sim and tactics. For now, though, the game's cult status grows, with players rediscovering it on sales or through word of mouth. I'd kill for a Midnight Suns 2, but I'm not holding my breath. The game took risks, and while it didn't pay off commercially, it left a mark on those who played it. If you haven't tried it, grab it on a sale. You might just fall in love like I did. And that's the story of Marvel's Midnight Suns, a bold, brilliant, and sometimes misunderstood masterpiece. From its ambitious development to its mixed reception, it's a game that dared to be different. I love its tactical depth and Marvel charm, even if some characters whined a bit too much for my taste. Its future might be uncertain, but its legacy as a cult classic is secure. What do you think? Are you a Midnight Suns fan? Want a sequel, or is the original enough? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep the conversation going. If you enjoyed this retrospective, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to GamingSafeSpace for more gaming deep dives, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Until next time, keep gaming, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.